Welcome back! Better Than a Let's Play episode 10. I'm Enigmius, and today we are building around liquids. That's our theme for this episode. You can see I'm back in the Nether. We're in our Nether tower. I finished doing all the excavation from the inside of the tower, and if you recall in the last episode I pointed out this gravel layer, and this is gravel that I placed to wall off the lava because the tower sort of juts out from the middle of this lava lake. And I wanted to wall off the lava so that I could run an endothermic pump in here and clear out just the lava that we needed for the sake of building the tower. And then I wanted to put a glass sort of viewport, or viewport doesn't even describe it because I wanted to go all the way around, but you get the idea. I wanted to be able to see through this section of the tower, and that way from an aesthetic point of view, we don't have to do a whole lot. We just have to make basically a big old window. The lava is interesting enough on its own that I don't need to do any kind of elaborate, crazy sort of nonsense with it. I can just sort of expose it, and it ends up being kind of neat. So what I did is I went to plots.co.uk. That's my standard site anytime I want something round, and I got the information for a 16 by 9 ellipse, and then I split it in half, and you can see we've got the top profile and then a big gap and then the bottom profile. It almost looks kind of like a circle with the ends each side cut off, which wasn't exactly the profile that I was looking for, but it wasn't so bad that I felt like I had to redo it. I would have preferred it to be a little bit more narrow, but I wanted to show off, first of all, the lava in the middle, and then some material underneath to show that this is actually the bottom of the lava. And then of course we wanted to have a viewport area above the lava so that we can see what's going on in the Nether from above there. And it won't be long before we'll start to see ghasts taking baths in the lava right outside the window. We're going to get some magma cubes flopping around doing what they do. So it's kind of interesting. It's just, anytime I'm in an environment where the environment itself is interesting, I think there's a lot of merit in just sort of showcasing that. And then I don't have to worry about making things creative and interesting in order to make them look good, because the environment is doing that for me. I just have to make them visible. So you can see here, the biggest tip that I can offer when working on something like this is to stand off to the side when breaking the blocks that are holding the lava at bay, so that if something does go wrong, if you take a little bit too long selecting your next block, any lava that comes out is going to miss you, because we don't want to be caught on fire when we're working with lava. Even the power suit, if I spend too long in the lava, it doesn't really help with the overheating. It's about the best way I can describe it. Now you can see we've got the magma cube flipping and flopping around out there. We've got another ghast taking a bath, and with the cobblestone gun you can get an idea of the actual aesthetic. It's just a big old viewport. We've got a flaming island off in the distance. Now this area here, this left side of them clearing out, this is where the endothermic pump leaked. I don't even know if describing it as leaked is accurate, but basically I had walled off the lava, but the pump started pumping lava anyways, and that's why we've got all this stone and cobblestone. It doesn't really bother me for now. If it bothers me later, it wouldn't be all that big of a deal to fix it. So I'm not really concerned about it, but it was just one of those things where I kind of wished I had caught it sooner and shut it down. Now, this is another project that it was spur of the moment. Now, if you remember, a few episodes ago, we went to Lol Mountain and we took a look at it. It's just this crazy big mountain, tremendous altitude, weird shape. And I said, someday we're going to build something there. I don't know what yet, but we're going to build something there. And I still don't know what I'm going to build there, but one of the things that I also said is that because it's such a long distance over water, I wanted to have a tunnel from our central facility all the way to Lol Mountain. So as with everything else that I do, for example, if I should happen to die and I don't have all these nifty things like flight and all that other stuff to get around, how am I going to get back to a certain place if I've counted on the ability to fly, for example, to get there? Well, we build a tunnel. Now, the first step actually is building a tunnel from the central facility to the water. And then the actual build starts. Once we get to the water, that's when we start thinking about the design for the tunnel and how we want it to look and how we want it to function. And the whole idea is it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be luxurious. It has to be lit. because we don't want monsters in our tunnel. It's ours, not theirs. They didn't help build it. They're not allowed to be in it. And again, it's the environment itself is kind of where the interest factor comes in. You'll see a little bit later just how deep we are underwater where we're building this tunnel. That alone is kind of neat. So we don't have to do anything particularly elaborate or, you know, special. But the goal is to have it so that if you're on the surface of the water looking down, you'll see a 2-block wide strip of glass that's lit, and there'll probably be some light spilling out over the sides because that's just the way the Minecraft lighting works. But that's all you'll see, is this lit strip of glass running the entire length of the ocean until it hits land on the other side. In order to make that happen, I need the proper lighting. I thought about using torches. Torches are no good. It's too difficult to actually hide them underwater in a way that looks good without kind of being a pain in the ass. Glowstone lamps are out because they need a redstone torch or some other nonsense that's just no good. So what I'll be using is glowstone illuminators from thermal expansion. A little bit more spendy than redstone lamps, certainly more spendy than torches, but they're standalone and you can set them to always on and then you're done. So you can see here what I actually did was I built a staircase all the way up to the surface. What the cameraman can't show you is my mini-map, and it's my mini-map that I'm using to gauge where I am relative to the water so that I know kind of where I want to be breaking out from the bedrock tunnel to the ocean. I went a little too high with the staircase, found out what level I needed to be on, then we came back and now we're on the appropriate level, and we've hit water on the far side, and that's actually at the very bottom of the ocean. So what that means is now we start to build and we need a lot of glass. Now when I need a lot of glass these days, I hop across the river just outside the central towers with a heat shovel and I run around the desert smacking sand. It's fantastic, it's quick, it's easy, you can get stacks and stacks of glass, and you don't have to worry about feeding furnaces or special build instructions. Now that gray blob in the middle of the screen is where we exit from the tunnel into the ocean, and you can see this is not a great view. I understand that. You can see my character moving around just barely, but it does give you an idea. The cameraman is just hovering above the surface of the water. You can get an idea for the depth that we're at, which is about the only benefit to this little segment of footage. But you get the idea, right? So if we skip ahead to something where things are a little bit better lit, you get this, which is kind of giving you an idea of where we're going. You can still see the difference. Well, one of the first things you can see is the difference in the contrast between the lit area and the unlit areas. Like, it's not going to be hard at all to see this little tunnel, this 2-block wide strip of glass. But the one thing that I was hoping it wouldn't be an issue, but it did actually turn out to be a pretty substantial issue, is the source blocks in the tunnel. Quite often, if you place a block underwater, the water underneath that block will drain out. It's a handy little trick if you're underwater trying to do things without the water-breathing options that we have to save yourself. You can get some air that way by placing a block in the water drains, and then you can breathe underwater. In this case, I wasn't so lucky. None of the water wanted to drain, so I'm left kind of chasing down the tunnel once I get the glass roof in place, chasing down the tunnel with dirt walls, killing all the source blocks so that it's just air under there instead of water. So it's going to take a little while. That's the big time sink right now, is chasing out the source blocks, but that's where we're going. Next episode, I'm going to mess around with different views, see if we can get something a little bit more interesting, a little bit better than this. But we're going to finish off this tunnel, and then I'll have something to do. I just don't know what it is. But I'm having fun. I'm having fun with the building and just messing around. It's pretty neat. So, if you want to be notified when I add the next episode, the easiest way to do that is to subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on the Twitters, @Enigmius1. You'll get a notification when I upload a new video there as well. Please, by all means, leave your comments and feedback in the section below the video. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.
Bye.